Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church in New Bedford. We are so happy to have you on this beautiful Sunday, even though it's Saturday. We also have our congregational meeting today after service on Zoom to bring Karen on as our minister, and we hope you take part in democracy and let your voice be heard. So this month we're talking about commitment, and being that we do the family and friends service on the last Sunday of the month, you've had a nice preview to the theme of commitment in the services that you've heard and the small group sessions and hopefully during coffee hour chit chat. So while we have lots of things happening like Seder, Happy Pesach, happy Passover to the people who are celebrating with their families the story of Exodus, our Jewish part of our sources where we draw a lot of our stories from. The children are certainly excited for the holiday coming up next, but that's April. And it's also Women's History Month. So today I'm going to share a really great story. But before we get going on that, I would like to light our chalice. I love these new chalice words that I found, so I'm going to continue using them until they become ingrained. Be ours our religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, and its creed all truth, its ritual works of love. So today, we're gonna be talking about the 4 C's of commitment: curiosity, change, conscious, and compassion. First, commitment means that we act on what we value and hold important. And in our religion, we act on this commitment by welcoming questions of wonder. Like, what is God? Is there even a God? And how do we live a good life? And why do people die? And how did the universe come to be? We encourage curiosity because we believe that there are always new things to do, to discover, new mysteries to explore. So in that spirit today, curiosity. What makes things curious to you? Have you stopped? Have you looked at the trees lately? Are you searching for those buds? Are you curious when they're going to bloom? Use the natural world to spark your curiosity. Before I move on to tell you about the other things like change, I want to begin with our opening hymn, because singing is certainly a way for us to commit to being together. So I invite you to join in our first hymn, Come Sing a Song with Me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. Thank you, Randy, for that lovely organ music. So, of course, it's that time in our service to greet one another, wherever that is, virtually, living rooms. Maybe you're enjoying your service outdoors on your patio. I don't know. But we come together as a religious community upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. A beautiful, well-written, and solid purpose. So now we have our candles of healing and celebration. I light a candle for my mother-in-law, Gloria. She passed away on March 1st, and she was certainly a force. And so that's for her friends and family, and obviously her sons and grandchildren and everyone. And to all of you who reached out and sent sympathy, I appreciate that. I light candles for the children who are all returning to school in person, and candles for those who received the vaccine. I'm half vaccinated. Maybe you can call that, I don't know, 44.5% efficacy. I'm not really sure, but I feel privileged. I don't know why, but I do. So before we get into our story of all ages, I just want to talk quickly about change, because that is one of our commitments, and curiosity and change. And we've gone through a lot of change. So for one, the language in our principles or promises that we recite have gone through a whole litany of things. Like right now, right? We're pondering the addition of the 8th principle regarding dismantling racism in our institutions and trying to act on this. However, some people say, well, isn't that what our 7 promises are for? And then we changed our second source to reflect a new sensitivity to gender identity. So we changed the words from words and deeds of prophetic men and women to words and deeds of prophetic people. We added that 6th source, spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred of life, the sacred circle of life, and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Not until 1987. Of course, that was initiated by women. We also, if we go further back into 1961, one of our older principles stated to encourage cooperation with men of goodwill in every land. However, the compassion was there, but in those days, the word men was supposed to include everyone, but it really didn't. So now we use the word humankind instead of mankind. So we can expect all sorts of change in our lives. Sometimes it's not easy, and that's why we are here together. So let's help each other. Let's let go or let it be and embrace what's new. Yes, we all change, but we're in it together. And so with that, I want to break and talk about this lovely story that I'm going to share with you today. So being that it's Women's History Month, I thought, yes, I will choose all of the hymns for this service from women. Yes, all 3 of them were written by women. But did you know in this giant book of hymns and words, only 80 women are represented out of hundreds? So maybe it's time to change this as well. However, we are lucky. We have a hymnal that is representing various religions and ideas. So that part is diverse. So let's talk today about this. Why not share a story of an amazing woman? Her name is Aissatou Cissé. This is a story from Gambia. Yes, I am aware that the author who wrote this is white. However, she lived with the culture, and she was able to get a story that represents the Gambian woman. So yeah, the plastic bag. You know, nothing better than looking up at the beautiful trees about to burst in bloom and see a plastic bag stuck there. And by all means, it probably will be there for the rest of the life of the tree because the bags outlive the trees sometimes. So today, one plastic bag. We do have permission from the publisher to share this. So here we go. Aissatou Cisse and the Recycling Women of the Gambia. Aissatou walks with her chin frozen. Fat raindrops pelt her bare arms. Her face hides in the shadow of a palm leaf basket, and her neck stings with every step. Warm scents of burning wood and bubbling peanut stew drift past her. Village is close now. She lifts her nose to catch the smell, and the basket tips. 1 fruit tumbles, then 2, then 10. The basket breaks, so she kicks it. Something silky dances past her eyes, softening her anger. It moves like a flag flapping in the wind and settles under a tamarind tree. Aissatou slides the strange fabric through her fingers and discovers it can carry things inside. She gathers her fruits in the bag. The basket is useless now. She drops it knowing it will crumble and mix back in with the dirt. 4 goats greet Aissatou, and Grandmother Mumbe emerges from her kitchen hut. Hurry in before the rain soaks your beautiful muba. Aissatou scurries in, and Grandmother serves spicy rice and fish, and rain drums on the creaking aluminum roof. I broke your basket, but I found this. Plastic? There's more in the city. Day after day, she watches neighbors tote their things in bright blue or black plastic bags, and children slurp water and wanjo from tiny holes poked in clear bags. Market trays filled with minties wrapped in rainbows of plastic. The colors are beautiful, she thinks, and she swings her bag around, and 1 paper escapes, then 10, then 20. Aissatou shakes sand off her papers, and another plastic bag floats by, and she tucks her things inside. The torn bag is useless now, so she drops it to the dirt, as everyone does, because there's nowhere else to put it. So day after day, the bag she dropped is still there. 1 plastic bag becomes 2, then 10, then 100. Plastic isn't beautiful anymore, she thinks. Her feet step down a cleaner path, and the thought floats away. Years pass, and Aissatou grows into a woman, and she barely notices the ugliness growing around her until the ugliness finds her way to her. Aissatou hears a goat crying and hurries toward Grandmother's house. Why is it tied up? Where are the other goats? Inside, the butcher is speaking in a low voice. Many of these goats have been eating these, he says. The bags twist around their insides, and the animals cannot survive. Now 3 of your goats and so many other goats in the village have died. Grandmother Mumbe's powerful shoulders sag. Aissatou must be strong and do something. But what? What can one person do? Her feet lead her to the old, ugly road. A pile of garbage stands as wide as Grandmother's cooking hut. Mosquitoes swarm near dirty pools of water along the pile, and smoke from burning plastic stings her nose. Goats scamper past, and they forage through the trash for food. So she decides to pick 1 bag, then 2, then 10, then 100 as she holds her breath. What can we do? Asks her friends. Well, let's wash them. As the bags dry, Aissatou watches her sister crochet. Can you teach me? Wow, yes, she says. Her fingers are busy, in and out. Jarif, thank you. Aissatou finds a broomstick and carves her own tool from its wood. What's that for? Well, I have an idea, but my friends are going to think it's crazy. Will the idea even work? Nervously, she explains the plan. 1 friend agrees to help, then 2, then 5, and the women cut the bags into strips and make spools of plastic thread. And before long, they taught themselves how to crochet with this method. How is the work slow? Some people in the village laugh at us, and others call us dirty, but I believe what we are doing is good. And the women crochet by candlelight, away from those who mock them, until a morning comes when they no longer work in secret, because they created this beautiful pouch. 1, then 2, then 10, and then, as she brought them to the village, one woman lays her Dalasi coins on the table, and she chooses a purse, and she shows it to her friend, and the next thing you know, they all come to buy them. She fills her own purse with the Dalasi, and she zips it shut and rides home to tell her grandmother that she has made enough to buy 1 goat. And when she passes by the pile of rubbish, she smiles because it's smaller. And she tells herself one day it will be gone and my home will be beautiful. And guess what? And one day, it absolutely was. And here, actually, she is 2 of the women crocheting. And then I just want you to see, here she is, right here. And what happened as a result of her efforts is an empowerment center was built to promote health and literacy. The first library in her village was built by efforts of this project. And so here we are with all the resources at our fingertips. And here she is on a continent away from us doing one amazing thing. Aisatusi say. So I hope you all enjoy that story and think twice about those plastic bags. So at that time in our service, to enjoy our second hymn, there is a river flowing in my soul. That felt so good. I wish you were all here to feel it as well as hear it. Hopefully that translates through the virtual computer screens. So thank you, Randy. That's a perfect segue to just talk briefly about those other wonderful 4 C's, like compassion. Our heart last time from the beloved community service, which we show as a symbol of compassion often. And compassion is putting action to love. Our second principle has the word compassion in it. justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Our proposed 8th principle, dismantling racism and journeying towards spiritual wholeness, involves compassion too, because we recognize that compassion for others points us to our larger community, and compassion guides us to freeing others from suffering by putting our love into action. Compassion, equity, and justice are all a part of fighting racism, which we are committed to, and which, as you know, is in our covenant, as we recited earlier. So I just want to do a meditation, share something with you that I've been doing lately, and I love it so much, and I thought I would share this wonderful resource with you. This is Shauna Shapiro's book, Good Morning, I Love You. And so I'm going to talk to you today about this full practice. It's really simple. Obviously, when I say good morning, I love you, Yasmin, you're not going to say my name. You're going to say your name because you're greeting yourself because you are amazing and worth it. So, again, Shauna Shapiro. I always do the good morning, I love you practice first thing when I wake up. While laying in bed, I place my hand on my heart and I take a moment to simply feel the connection, to receive this tender gesture of self-care. So continue with me. Place your hand on your heart, focus on your palm, and feel your heart pulsing through your chest. And feel how your heart is taking care of you, sending you oxygen and nutrients to the trillions of cells in your body. The heart knows exactly how to care for you. You don't have to control it or even think about it. Simply receive the nourishment. And when you're ready, you're going to take a breath and you're going to say, good morning, Yasmin. Good morning, whoever you are. Good morning, I love you, Yasmin. Now notice how this makes you feel. See if you can bring the kindness and curiosity to however you are feeling. There's no right or wrong way to feel it. Trust that you're planting the seeds of presence and compassion for yourself, and that these seeds will grow and strengthen the neural substrates of self-love. Send these seeds of blessing out into the world, offering the phrase, good morning, I love you, to anyone who comes to mind. Maybe it's your cat or dog. Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's your students. Just recognize that we are never just practicing for ourselves. Everything we do has echoes in the universe. So if we can create a habit of greeting ourselves with love each morning, these first moments of our day can transform the rest of these moments of our day, our lives, and the lives of others. So add that to your practice. You think meditation can be hard? This is an easy one. Good morning, I love you. So that is a perfect segue into another amazing hymn written by Melvina Reynolds. You may know she does a fun song about a penny. But this one is number 313, Oh, What a Piece of Work We Are. Common what a piece of work are we? We're like masterpieces. We could be hanging in the greatest of galleries, although that would be kind of boring on those days that everyone doesn't come to see you. So I think we've done a good job talking about commitment, the 4 C's, curiosity, change, conscience. We didn't really talk too much about conscience, so I'm just going to share briefly before we close. So yes, we are committed to our conscience as well, because it's that voice in your head and the feeling in your heart that tells you if something is right or wrong. Sometimes I curse my conscience, but that's a whole nother sermon. We have these 7 principles or promises, and we use them, and we say we affirm and promote, and that means we agree to them, and we act on them. And they grew out of the grassroots of our congregations, and we voted on them. And they are part of who we are. Our 5th principle has the word conscious in it, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society at large. So in order for a democracy like ours to work, we have to trust that each person has the inner voice or conscience and uses it when they have a say or a vote in decisions. Inherent worth and dignity of every person. Our first principle. If everyone has a still small voice inside guiding them towards good, then they also have the worth and they deserve dignity. And this is our commitment to conscience, one of our core beliefs, the 4 C's. So with that, my closing words are actually another woman. She's also in the singing, the living tradition. Her name is Beth Ide, but she closes one of her stanzas with this. Since what we sing is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal may ever shine afar, and the will to reach it makes us free. So please join the Zoom meeting, cast your vote, be part of the democratic process. Until then, signing out. I look forward to seeing you at our lovely garden opening on April 8th from 4 to 6 to AHA. Until then, peace out, everybody.